Satnam Siri Waheguru. Welcome to my channel. My name's Tracy. This is Deeper Daily Life, and I'm here today with a video for you on crypto tax apps, which is a really huge emerging space coming out of the crypto market. The new industries arising. So I want to take this opportunity to take you through a bunch of those apps and give you a good insight so that you don't have to do all the work yourself. So before we go on, just a quick couple of things. This is edutainment purpose only, video content. Do your own research, use your own brain and make your own decisions. No financial advice here, just some helpful content. And if you like this stuff, can you hit the like button on the vid, and could you also subscribe to my channel and pass this along if you think it'd be useful to anybody else. And I think that's it. Let's get into it. All right, well, let's just start off about, what are they for? What would you use one for? Well, essentially, if you are buying, selling, trading any level of crypto, at some point, you're probably going to have to declare it to the tax man. Now, if you're lucky enough not to have to worry about that, you also may still want to be plotting and tracking your portfolio performance, which is one of the other key things that these applications have as a strength. And some of them, for example, will just give you free access to the portfolio piece, and you only pay for the tax reports, which is pretty cool. It's a great way to give yourself a consolidated view of your your crypto portfolio, and the performance of both the actual portfolio overall, but individual cryptos. It allows you to basically capture and calculate information. Essentially, if you need to do that for tax, then the apps are really useful for that. And as I say, like getting insights into the performance of your portfolio, which is very cool. And, these are really amazing tools for people who may be completely new to the finance world, to investing. So it's a really interesting space. And look, you may have just stumbled upon this because you're just getting new into the crypto market. I hope this gives you some great information. All right, moving right along. I've just put together this slide to talk through what I think are the key things that are happening in this space, in terms of each of the apps really should be delivering around these core functionalities. The first and foremost being performance of your portfolio, and because that kind of comes part and parcel with your tax requirements. So essentially your profit and loss statements. So are you going to be clocking a profit for the year or a loss for the year? And the aging of your trades is also important. So that kind of visibility of portfolio. And your portfolio is basically all your assets, their value at the time of purchase, and the current value, so that you can see what the rise and fall is. And then it actually, shows a calculation when you sell out of an asset. And then you can see by crypto, you can see basically the trade between the value between fiat currencies. So often they'll be able to, you're going to be setting what your base fiat currency is. For example, I'm in Australia, so mine's is Australian dollar, US dollar. So one of the things when you're actually looking into them is to see whether it's going to really work for your fiat pairing needs. They give you an opportunity to interconnect with exchanges and wallets. And most of them now have access to a lot of different exchanges and wallets. So you'll see later on in the video, depending on which direction you're going in, that all of them have a high volume of exchanges and wallets that they can connect into. And that's either going to be done through an automated API feed, a manual upload, so which is going to kind of involve a bit of templating of your data often. Some of them, however, build in the ability to actually, so they've actually built in so that you can natively pull in the data from your exchange, which is really cool. And then also being able to manually input data. And then the center, this kind of center core here is all about, you know, the calculation of profit and loss, being able to generate the particular tax reports that you're going to need, which is really all about your transactions. So within a date period, so what your starting balances were for your assets, what the movement has been for that financial year, what happened when you sold something, essentially was it a profit or a loss, and then what your asset base is at the end of the year. And that's not just for your tax man, I mean that's very important for you to have as well. And then the third kind of category of areas is, and APIs we kind of touched on already, but really the other two areas around help and quick start guides and support. So these tax apps, most of them now are really quite good at giving you really quick startup guides to get you going, up and running really quickly, which is awesome, but also providing more detailed support within the app to deal with things where it looks like there's a missing transaction, so I can't balance the books, or where there's an issue with not being able, like it'll show you where you haven't, you know, say imported some particular data source. And then the ability to access support content, so what are the other issues other people are having, and how can you get help when something goes belly up. All right, so let's have actually a look at, I've got the top 6 here. So these are the players that I'm going to be focused on for the rest of the series of these videos. So we've got Accointing, Koinly, Cointracker, Cointracking, Crypto-tax calculator, and Cryptotrader.tax, or Cryptotrader.tax. Look, I'm sure there's others, but these are the ones that I've really focused on. Most of these I've used, full disclosure. I have given them all a red hot go, except for the Cryptotrader.tax. So that was a new one, but I kind of thought it was interesting because it did have a focus on traders, which is something that's of interest to me. And what I've pulled out of here is, this is their tagline. So Accointing, track your portfolio files and file your crypto taxes. Koinly, crypto tax reports in under 20 minutes. Koinly calculates your crypto taxes and helps you reduce them for next year. Simple and reliable. Track your crypto portfolio taxes. Accurately track crypto investment performance and taxes is hard. We make it easy and help you save money. The leader, or Cointracking, the leader in cryptocurrency tracking and tax reporting. Crypto tax calculator. Sort out your tax nightmare. Don't struggle with Excel. Use Crypto Tax Calculator. And then last one, Cryptotrader.tax. Crypto tax is done in minutes. Cryptocurrency tax software built to save you time and maximize your refund. So they're all doing the same thing, right? They're all basically having a portfolio and giving you a tax report. So what differentiates them? So what I've done is pop together this little slide here, and in the bottom corner, I'm just going to have to talk to you about what's in that box, aren't I? Because it's covered over by my mug. What I've done is a comparison across all of these apps for basically price based on ding, 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 ding. That means I've been focusing for 15 minutes. So essentially what they all do is that they give you a number of transactions at a cost. So they might call it different levels, something. So for example, most of them have got either a hobbyist level or what they might call rookie. Some of them don't call it anything at all. But that number of transactions is somewhere between 25 and what's the highest, 500 for Accointing.com, which is, again, even looking at that, So if we look at this table, what we're looking at is where it's a comparison between the different subscription levels, the number of transactions, and then the number of exchanges and wallets that it interfaces with. So let's take, for an example, I'm just going to go into the middle one. So let's go to look at Koinly, which has got an annual price of $49 through to $279. Now that might be US dollar, I can't remember, but if I haven't specified it, anyway, you'll know when you go into it because it's going to ask you for your what you're going to be paying in, but let's assume that's US dollars. So below that, it's saying for $49 you get 100 transactions. For $99 you get 1,000 transactions, and for $179, blah, blah, blah. Now that's based on the year. So because essentially when you go to run the majority of these reports, you're doing them based on the financial year. So what it looks like is how many transactions you've got in that year. So it means that you can just be doing your portfolio analysis work throughout the year in the majority of these apps, and it's not going to cost you anything until at the end of the year you need the data basically to export it for the purposes of supporting your tax. So that's the Koinly version. So if we then look at, let's go to the one at the end, the Cryptotrader.tax. So again, that's $49.99, $1.99 and $2.99. So, and essentially almost identical in terms of number of transactions. Now the wallets and exchanges on that seem to be much lower. But often with these, what I'm finding is they really pump up the APIs and exchange interfaces pretty quickly. So if they're getting to 200, and I think those guys are pretty new, they're probably going to pump up the amount of exchanges they've got pretty quickly. All right, so then let's go to the left-hand side. So we go to Accointing.com. Now that has no lower end price, so it's just straight into 109 for 500, 249 for investors, and 50,000 for traders. So three prices. Yeah, and that's just what you get. Now, if I look at that in comparison to, say, Koinly, now 100 transactions, there'll be some people that just sit in that space for sure, but it's pretty easy to get over 100 transactions pretty quickly. So, anywho, Cointracking.info has a zero plan. Also, so does Cointracker, and then goes up accordingly. So they end up being the most expensive ones, both Cointracking and Cointracker. And Cointracker has very small transaction rates. So you get, for $0, you'll get 25 transactions, which is really just a test account, right? And then 100 for $89. Now, if you look at the 100 against some others, it's probably more expensive. And then the next level up, 1,000 for $279. That seems a bit steep. And then 3,000 for over that. But anyway, look, really depends on, if you're doing large volumes of trading, then these things are generally worth it because the volumes of transactions is impossible, almost impossible to deal with manually. You'd spend all your time doing it. And then down the bottom, we've just got the variations between the exchanges. So you can see many of them now are over the 400 mark. Looking around, hearing strange noises. And then there's a couple that are not so big. Now, the approximate 50 one, the coin tracking one, it was very difficult for me to determine, and you will see that. So I'm going to go into each and every one of those and do exactly the same setup to show you what it's like setting them all up and how quickly it takes. And then you'll get a feel for the kind of pros and cons of them. And then at the end of all of that, I'm going to do a comparison review to help you decide which ones to try. See you soon. Alrighty, so welcome to this part of the video. We're going to do basically a run through of each of these 6 tax apps, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to register and we're going to set up an API, same API for all of them, and just demonstrate which one's the easier ones to do, what's involved in that first setup piece. So I'm just going to ditch this so we can do it again. And I love Brave browser, FYI. Okay, so let's start with Accointing. We come to the homepage for Accointing. We've got a sign in button. It's just a single sign in button, whether you're logging in or signing up. And even if you're logging in or signing up, it doesn't matter if you get it wrong, particularly if you're using the Google sign up, or if you want to sign up using a standalone login. I'm going to do it via Google, and I've got a Gmail account set up called Cryptotracker.tax. Let's jump into there. And Accointing says, beauty, here's a landing page. I need some data. So you'll notice here, it's coming in and it's saying, welcome. So in order to start tracking your portfolio, we need some data. So it's saying you've created your account, bingo. Now you need to connect a wallet or an exchange, add a wallet or exchange, add data, add wallet or exchange, all the same thing. So it will take us to this secondary page, and in there we're going to connect with Kraken. So in this instance, there's 2 selections for Kraken and Kraken futures. Often futures are handled differently by these type of APIs. So in this instance, it's actually been set up for both, which is great. We're going to just choose Kraken, and then from here, we're going to go with the selection of API key. So the other selections are doing manual uploads and kind of getting templates, or doing manual entry. And then it kind of tells a bit more about that. So we're going to hit continue on API. It tells us what's supported and then what's not supported. So if you, again, often it will say that the futures aren't dealt with, but because there's 2 Krakens, it hasn't bothered saying that. So everything that you can do through here. So we're going to say got it. Takes us to this page. Now it wants an API key and it wants a secure key. So what we're going to do in our Kraken setup is we're going to add a key, call it Accointing test, and we're just going to query. So all we want is query access only, and we want to generate the key, and we're going to copy it. Now Kraken's probably one of the easiest ones to create an API key on, which is a good reason I've chosen this one, because others can be much more stroppy. They want lots of verifications and validations done. So we've entered the details and we're going to hit save. So that's how quick Accointing is to get an initial setup done. So that will start pulling in some details into there, and that will start putting information into the portfolio. All right, number 2, we're going to we'll go down the list on the left-hand side. We're going to go to Koinly.io. Here we've got a sign in and a sign up button. I'm going to click the sign up button, and again I've got an option to continue with Google, which I tend to do because then I don't have to remember which email address I've used. And we're using Crypto.tax.apps at Gmail account. Once that authorizes, it's then asking firstly, are we Australian? is it Australian dollar? So of course this is going to be based on your setting. So as you can see, there's obviously a lot of different setups that it accepts already, but for us we're going to, or for me, I'm going to set it up to Australian dollar, hit continue, and then it's taking me direct into add wallet. So again, if I just purely click on that and select Kraken, then it says I can basically set up as an auto sync or import from file. So I'm going to do that. Again, we get a secondary dialog box where I'm going to save that, go back into Kraken, add another key, which in this one will be Koinly test. Again, same info. Generate key, copy, paste, copy, paste, and begin or start import from the beginning. Ignore reported balances, we're going to leave that off. Now once you've done that, you can see down here it's syncing, but you have to hit this done button. So again, really quick, and that will start pulling data into your into the dashboard. It's also got a bunch of other funky things it wants to do. So that one was pretty quick. All right, Cointracker.io, next on the list. We go to Cointracker, we've got a sign in or a get started. So let's click on the get started button. You can continue with your Coinbase account for that, or continue with Google, or sign up with an email account. I'm going to do it with my trusty Crypto.tax apps Gmail account, and we'll just wait for that to do its magic. Waiting, here we go, in we get. So it wants to confirm that my home country is Australia. And then it wants to add the first exchange. So let's go Kraken, rinse and repeat. All right, hit save on that previous one. Add a new key. Coinbase test. Query, 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 query. Don't even know if I need all of those, but anyway. Copy the key, pop that in there, copy the security key in there, hit save, congratulations, bang, proceed to dashboard, one exchange, it's importing, so there's nothing to see there. All right, moving right along, we are now up to Cointracking.info. So Cointracking.info. Here we go. So we come into a login, account login or sign up for free. So we are wanting to sign up for free. We're going to hit that button. So this is different. We can't go in as our Google account. So Crypto.tax apps. And then I'm going to save that. Now I've got doing all right though. Google Tax apps at Gmail. See, this is why I like just having it do it for me. It makes life much easier. Please enter a password. All right, go back there. It cleared out that password. So let me go back into. Oh, so it's taken a lot more time already. Copy that password, put that in there. All right. Do we want US dollar? I'm going to change it to Australian dollar. I want English, and I'm going to set my time zone to here in good old Melbourne town. And I don't want the newsletter. And then it asks me to add or import transactions now. So here we go. We've done the registration. All right, we're into this now. Can I search? No. How do I search? New. Click and logo trades. Okay. Let's see if we can. There's Kraken there. CSV API. Excuse me. All right, log into your Kraken account. So this wants me to do the same. Pull this up here. Add key. Cointracking.info. Test. Query. Generate key. Okay, so it wants the API key there. Put that in here. Private key. Automatically 1 times a day. Send an email. No, save this job. Oh, premium users only. Oh. Hit a stumbling block already. So I had to get all the way through to there to basically figure out that I can't do anything and that I would need to go and get a subscription. All right, interesting. Well, that's a fail. So then what's our alternate? If I go back, then I can go and do it as a CSV import. Now, I'm not going to bother doing that now, but that's a bit more fuffing around because usually if you're doing the imports, it might tell you. So it's saying go to Kraken, go and get an export, select ledgers from the drop down, blah, 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 click on submit, blah, blah, blah. So it wants the ledgers, so I can do it through here. Now what it should do is just accept the native Kraken export, but I'm not going to do that because I wanted to do it with API. So boom, boom, that's a fail. All right, we can't test that. We're going to go into Crypto.tax calculator. So important to have simple titles, isn't it? Names. Sign up, log in, sign up. Sign up with Google. Love it. Click on that. Thank you very much. And we're going to select our country of Australia. Hit continue. All right. Wants me to select my exchange. Kraken. There it is down there. Upload file or sync via API. Now I'm going to go back to my trusty API setup in Kraken, and we're going to do Crypto.tax calc test query, generate our key. Oh, it wants me to do a verification. It wants to know why I'm doing so many API key setups. Authorize that, which is good. Put in the API key here, private key in here, nickname I'm going to put in as, oh, I don't need it, it's Kraken. It's Kraken, that's Kraken. All right, hit API, add API. There we go. So it puts in there, you can add in additional ones, and apparently it is syncing. So let's have a look. Oh, it's synced. And there we go. That one's done. Right, next. What do we got next? We've got, last but not least, and one that I actually haven't used at all, Crypto this is trader tax, not trades tax. This we have to be really careful about this, because that if you go to the wrong spot, it's got a harvesting web page that you don't want to go into. All right, log in, sign up. Let's click on log in, or let's click on sign up. We're going to jump into here. Checking your browser, individual versus tax. All right, here I have to do, I don't get a Google sign in, so I'm doing cryptotax@gmail.com. Coin ledger, test, save that, I agree. All right, here we go. So it's asking me for my country, and it seems to pick up that I'm Australian. And here we should be able to click on Kraken, hit the next button. We need to do a verify. Let's go. Import, okay. Auto import recommended, so I'm going to click on that, and go back out of here, add key, Cryptotrader.tax test, click on that, add that, generate our key. I'd like to thank you, Kraken, for your cracking contribution to this video. All right, so we're going to plonk that in, not plonk it. And then that's going to do its magic. So everyone except Cointracking.info, and I kind of had a feeling this might happen, was very easy to set up. So if we go to dashboard on all of them, let's do just a nice refresh. Everything's looking green here. You can connect another wallet. It brings in what your setup is. So you can see I haven't been doing much in Kraken for quite some time. And it gives you over time, and it gives you where you are in relationship to other users, which is kind of cool. There's more detail, of course, in the performance, but of course I'm only bringing in just a small amount of data. Then if we go to Koinly, go and refresh Koinly's dashboard. Here we go. I'm kind of a fan of the way that the Koinly portfolio works. It's actually really quite useful. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm a bit sucky that Koinly is a bit broken for me at the moment, so hence why I've ended up working through Accointing for a while. And then Cointracker.io. So you can see it's actually bringing in more data all time. So if I take it back to 3 months, and it's giving us some really interesting details. So here you hit one of the blockers where you can't look at smaller time frames for Cointracker without choosing a subscription plan. So and I think Cointracker is one of the more expensive ones. Then, of course, Cointracking, we didn't get anywhere. So if you wanted to check that out, you're going to have to go in and pull some data in there. Cointracker.tax calculator. You can see here, this is a pretty cool, I really like this layout as well. I think it's really cool. I've had issues with, just because of the amount of data that I have, getting the information into Cointracker was a real problem for me, but I love the layout at the front. And then Cointrader.tax, I have never actually used this, so I don't know what I'm doing in here. Let's have a look. Let's go back to the home page. And right, it kind of comes to a bit of a, it doesn't give you an overview. So that's looking at last year's tax year. So I think it wants me to, it's looking for data to be classified and clarified, and it looks like I might have to choose some type of subscription before I get any further with that. So that one's interesting. All right, the results. So after doing the testing setup in each of those applications, we're back to do a comparison view and a kind of wrap up to kind of, and I'm giving it a score. Let's just say that. All right, I'm doing a score. So what it says under here is poor message saying contact support, 4th place. Just if you want to know that. And you would have seen that from the review. So initial setup for the majority of them, thumbs up. I think they're all pretty much ease to do that, except for Cointracking, which was a bit of a bumble. Adding an API exchange, again, really simple for all of them. It's a very straightforward process. The complexity might be on your exchange side as opposed to the actual tax app side. So that's pretty cool. Again, Cointracking, couldn't even prove it because of the, all of a sudden you had to buy a subscription. So what's with that? Anyway, I hope they see this because there's really room for improvement. Dashboard usability with limited data. So what I mean by that is we really only had a one piece of data in there. So you can't really, it's not indicative of what the full layout's going to be, but at least it gives you a bit of insight. So all of them you can see are either good, great, good. There are 2 poor ones. Cointracking is well and truly a poor user experience, and Cointrader.tax just seemed to find a bit of a dead end, and it wasn't very intuitive what to do next. Koinly, great. I can see instantly what's going on. And look, I'm a bit of a fan of Koinly. I've used it a lot. Accointing is good, but it can be a little bit overwhelming, is my experience, but it's not a game changer, I don't think. And both the other 2 have good layouts, but one real standout for me, which is why Calculator and Cointracker got 2nd and 3rd. Second was Crypto-Calculator. So it's good portfolio performance, but it's not time adjustable. So I find that a bit frustrating. So that's second. And then, of course, I've put equal first for both Accointing.com and Koinly. Now, I may have mentioned in the other video about an issue I'd been having with Koinly and why I'd ended up going to Accointing. I've found a solution for that, and now that actually came through the community help. It didn't even come through their actual support. So I'm enjoying Accointingly, but I've now got 2 portfolio managers set up, so I will keep tracking them side by side. And thank you. And I will be going into, in the next videos, I'll go into a bit more detail in some of the more nuanced pieces of setup.